first episode takes me back, because the show obviously wasn't on, and we were shooting a funeral scene up in Arncliffe. And so we had the funeral car and the hearse, and we pulled into a lay-by because Mustafa Mouri, the cameraman, was going to show this car coming all the hearse all the way. So we put into a lay-by, and this car came by, an ordinary car, and I told a gag, and we all laughed. And these people, what funeral car? Why are they laughing? So we said, every time a car comes by, let's all laugh. And they'll be thinking, they're going to a funeral, and they're laughing like they must have been left a fortune in the will. So we just kept, every time a car came by, we'd burst out laughing. The very, very first memory was we all met. We had Tristan DeVere Cole, Keith Richardson, Gordon Fleming. We all met the night before in this lovely old pub, the Falcon, and we had lots of wine. And then in the end, I think it was Keith Richardson said, you do realise we're here to work. We thought, oh, sugar. We all tiptoed back into our rooms and closed the doors and went, oh, God, yes. Well, Arncliffe was good, except we were filming with the big old outside broadcast, and it got too much of a hassle, them having to come all the way down this wiggly road. So we moved to Esholt. And the only trouble with Esholt is we'd have our tea or lunch laid out, and one day we were filming, and this coach party came up. All these people got out, wolfed all our food, said, oh, it's very good, so-and-so holidays, look, they food. We go, no, that's our food. And they ate our lunch. We had no lunch. They ate it all. I got my very first cap. That's 50 years old. That's 50 years old, crikey. Yeah, my very first cap, and of course, this wardrobe about, I nicked my last cap as well. I kept that. So yeah, two souvenirs, my first cap and my last cap. Well, I love eating scenes. A lot of people don't. Sheila would always push a tomato around the plate. I love eating scenes because it happened actually. Gordon Fleming was directing a breakfast scene, and I had a line coming out. I thought, I'm not doing a take. What's my line? So I stuffed my mouth full of bacon. I said, and I think it was Andrew Burt thought I'd given him the line. He said, no, I don't think so, Joe. I think you should be doing that. And this. Okay. Right, we got to the end of the scene. Gordon Fleming came, put his arm around me. Frazer, I know you're a Yorkshire lad, and I like the reality, stuffing it, because you haven't got manners. I like that, but can I just hear the dialogue properly next take? I said, yes, certainly. And I looked at the script. What's that? Oh, yes, of course. So it's great. If you're doing an eating scene and you forget your line, just stuff it full of food. I met Kevin LaFan quite a few times. He came to the early episodes, and then when I left the show, I was doing a stage play, and he came to see the stage play. I think it was in Eastbourne or whatever, and he said, "Oh, Frazer, by the way, I'm writing some Emmerdale, and you're coming back." I said, "Am I?" I said, "I don't know. My agent had been," and he said, "Yes, we're going to have you working for NY Estates, so you're not just working on the farm, so I can get to wear a smarter jacket." Working with Sheila was great fun. I mean, a lot of people were frightened of her. Really were frightened, but she had a wicked sense of humour. And then, of course, the famous thing at the YTV studios, she went to get out of her car and she forgot to put it in park, and she put the accelerator and it went bang straight to reception at YTV, straight to reception. So the bar the next day had a special cocktail called the Sheila Wallbanger. And even the guys on security, we were sitting in the canteen about 3 days later. Ding dong, Miss Sheila Mercier to the reception, please. Not that bloody quick. As you can tell, it was a great atmosphere, a great working atmosphere. But working on the show, we learned how to dip sheep, sheer agony, but sheer agony for the sheep. Yeah, that was just, whatever. It never said Matt and Joe are doing a certain job. We would turn up, and whatever the farmer was doing, we had to get the dialogue and switch it around. So that was quite difficult. Milking scenes were, I hated milking, because you're always going to be in the last scene of the day, milking scene. But you had to know your lines back to front. And luckily, Freddie and I, we were great on our lines, because if two cows come, you have to go, I don't think so, Matt. Matt, get over, Daisy, get over. Now, the thing is, Matt, will you move your bum? You had to, go off script and back into the script again. Well, when they offered me the role, they said he's a young Yorkshire lad with an eye for the ladies. I said, no acting required. I think Emmerdale did change my life. it got me out of London. I was living in Chiswick at the time, and I used to commute. And in the end, I decided to sell in London and moved to Harrogate, just outside Harrogate. And it certainly has changed my life. It's got me a nice house and some lovely friends as well. Oh yes, I still watch it now. I love the Mina story. I mean, Paige. She was wonderful. Jeff Audsley, Kane Dingle. I think he's got a twinkle in his eye. I don't think he's as hard as he makes out. I'd like to meet him because he's got that little twinkle in his eye. The thing I love most about Emmerdale, well, I think 50 years ago, every ITV region, or 5 ITV regions, there was Harriet's Back in Town, Crown Court, Mark Percival, Emmerdale Farm and General Hospital. And out of those 5, Emmerdale's still going. And that's what I love. I was part of that, myself and Freddie and the gang. We were part of getting that show on the road, and here it is 50 years later. Still going strong.